Alright, so today we'll be starting up with the NumPy and completing the pandas, and we'll look over to some sort of how can you plot up the datas, and we'll do one project of like Gmail interface. Okay, I'll make you see how to make that project, and then you can make it there. Okay. So this NumPy is a package in Python for observing the numbers or for doing the calculations, and it is basically termed as a numerical Python. Okay, so where you can just come up with solving things with the numbers and all. Okay, so this mainly deals with the arrays, and there are all the things whatever it is consisting of goes within the arrays. All right, so we'll start up with that. So what is an NumPy array? That is actually an array, it's kind of a list, right, where you have elements, but the only difference between the list and this NumPy array is that in the list you can hold various different data types. But in the NumPy array, there must be one similar data type, okay, that is homogeneous data type in one particular array. So let's say this is an X, then there must be an array, right, which should have one data type. If I'm writing 1, 2 dot 3, 4, 5, 6, always the data will remain same. That is, the type will always remain the same. Okay. Yesterday also you might have got the videos link, right, of the official IBM videos. So if you go through those videos, you'll see what is NumPy consisting of. But there is actually the all stuffs are just enclosed within 2 to 5 minutes video. Mostly, hardly something is there. I think might be one or two which has gone for the 10 minutes. Other thing, rest apart from there, everything is being in 2 to 4 minutes, right? So NumPy is actually a very big module to study. Okay, so we'll be studying up whatever the necessary things are for your examination, right? And the 4 week students, you will be covering up the NumPy in much more detail. Okay, so this is an array particularly, right, and it deals with that. So there we come to see up for the dimensions. So this is an one dimension figure. Now if you say how we define the dimensions, the dimensions is like the more or the number of brackets, the square brackets you can see is the number of dimensions you are having in the array. Okay, so you can see here one dimension as one bracket starting and one bracket ending, only the square brackets. Now if I say a numpy.array, and this is an array, right, a numpy array with some of the two brackets. Alright, so we can say the number of dimensions, if you want to check, would be 2 dimension. Okay, would be 2 dimension up there. Similarly, there could be 3 dimension, 4 dimension, and when you check the type of any NumPy array, you will find it as ND array, right? And that ND array means that this is an n dimensional array. So the dimensions you can check it by NDIM. Okay, that is an n dimensions. Alright, now in a NumPy array, if you want to see which data type it is, like see, if I have written here 1, 2 dot 3, 4, 5, 6, so every data type has been changed to 2 dot, every data type has, or the total data type has been changed to the float, right? So what is exactly the data type inside this NumPy? So we'll see np dot data type. What is the data type of this X? Data type not understood. Okay. So this is having float 64, right? So this is containing the data type of float of 64 bits. So if it is a 64 bits, then what are the individual size of the element? The individual size of the element defines to be the item size. So the item size would be uh, 8, 8, 8. So item size would be 8. Okay. Now how this is 8? Whatever the data type is, right? Whatever the bytes it is storing in the data type, that is 64, divided by 8, you'll get the exact data type. Sorry, item size. Let's say we are defining a numpy array and we are saying the d type to be boolean. You can find true, 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 true. Let's say also we define 0. So 0 is always false, right? Remember? So let's say this is y. This is y. And this is false to true and all this, right? Now if I say that the dimensions, if you can see, is 1 itself till now, right? So dimension is 1. Now if you say that here want to convert this in some other format, this is a boolean and you want to convert this in some other format, what you can do, y dot as type, that is change the type. So as type to what? Let's say complex or integer. So 0 1 1 1 1 1, right? So any time, right, we are changing to integer, so we can find it that false is always 0 and the true is always 1, true is always 1, and as many true are there, as many 1 are there. So for false it is always 0. Got it? So you can change up the type. Now what is the shape of this x? That is 6. Nothing there, right? So let's make an A. Okay. So now A dot the number of dimensions to be 2 and A dot the shape is 2 cross 3, 2 by 3. Now
Sir,
what is this 2 cross 3 or 2 by
sir,
3?
sir, dimension should be 3, no?
Why?
Sir, you told no that total square brackets. Yeah, 3 square brackets are used, no, sir?
The total number of square brackets from the starting, that is 2.
Okay, okay.
Okay, like starting the 2 and ending with 2. Alright.
Yes, sir.
So the shape is 2 by 3. Right, now what this 2 by 3 means, if I print A, we can see some 2 rows and each of the row is having 3 elements, or we can say this is 2 rows and 3 columns. Alright, so what I was trying to do is shape, yeah, so this is the shape. Now if you want to reshape something, you can write it as reshape and let's say give us 3 cross 2. So this is a 3 cross 2, right? Let's say this is an X, which is an array. And this is a Y. This is an array. Okay. So these two are the arrays, and you want to add them up. So add, multiply, do whatever you want. So finding a dot product, x dot y, will give you a dot product. If you remember the dot product of the matrices and all. X multiplied by y. Yes. Alright. Now Instead of adding them, if I want to join them, what I could do is np dot concatenate these in x and y, and you can see this concatenation. Okay, so this concatenate differs when you work with some more than one dimension arrays. So on the if you see from the exam perspective, you will be only getting up these things in the numpy, right? Only of these things. All right, only this much things will be getting in the examination for the numpy, right? But we are going to explore something much, right? When I say that you can come up some of the numerical things inside this, I mean to say when I say that, let's say you want numbers from 2 to 4.
Sir, please can you repeat that concatenate one? What did you do? Concatenate one.
So in concatenate, what we have done is like we have combined the values of the first array and the second array, like that is x and y, and just joined them.
Okay.
That's it. So only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2, 4, 6, 5. So it's 1, 2,
Okay,
3,
okay,
4,
got
5.
it, got it. Right.
Okay. So where was I? Concatenation. After that. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, so if you want to see some numbers between some numbers, right, like let's say that you want to find out, you have a range of 2 to 4, let's say, and you want to find at least 100 numbers there. Okay, so 2 to 4 is the range and you want to find some 100 numbers there. So what can we do? Hmm? We can find it using the arithmetic progression, like you know the total number of outcomes to be, or you know the a, that is your 1 minute. 1 minute, guys. Okay, yeah. So this is like concatenation working, right? It just join. Now I am asking like you can do this approach of a sorry this tn equals to a plus n minus 1 multiplied by the d. You can approach this method to find out the 200 numbers. Like the main goal is to find the common difference between those things so that we can just find out 200 numbers with equal linearity spaces. Hmm? In that case, instead of going with all these things, what we can do is we can just write that np dot linear spacings, that is lin space, of numbers from 2 to 4, right? And we want some 200 numbers, and we want some 200 numbers out there, okay, and to print it. So you can see an array of numbers starting from 2 and going all the way to 4, right? Alright, now how we can be sure that this is having a linear spacing? How can we so sure that this all 2 to 4 is having a linear space? Hmm? So there must be some number of intervals it is following, or some number of steppings you can say that it is following. So we can write red step in which state it to be true. So after running this, it will give you a number which is this. Copy it. Okay. Now this is the interval, or you can say the common difference, or you can say the stepping value it is following for printing your numbers. So let's say 2 plus this. So this is your second number, isn't it? Correct. Now again plus this, third number, right? So as you can see out there, the second number, third number, and it goes like this. Okay. So if you don't define anything in a lens space, like if you don't define as you write the lens space and you write numbers starting from 1 to 100, and you don't define that how much occurrence you want, or you don't define like the total number of samples or outputs you want. So you can just run it and you can get some 50 numbers between 1 to 100 with some equal linearity. If you define that you only want 10 numbers, it will be 1, 12, 28, 34 and like that. If you say you want from 0 to 100, it will 0, 11, 22 and like that.
So can we manually give the component difference instead of it being random?
You want to like it as red step equals to yo. You want it as that 10. You want it like it like this. So it always take like if you want to manually give, you have to do something else, right? So returning the step, what it is saying, right? If you are taking from 0 to 100 and you want some 10 numbers between there, or you say from 1 to 10, right? So what you can do is, like, for whatever the doubt comes in the numpy, you can write np.info and you can just check it with the lens space. So it will give you a documentation, right? What it does and how it does, and what are the things there. So these are the parameters you can give, like the starting number, the stopping numbers, the number or the number of samples you want to generate. So by default it is C, it is 50 and it must be non-negative. And the return step is true or false. So it is an optional. If true, it will return the samples where the stepping is same. And if you write false, you will be getting nothing. And the D type, right? What is endpoint? So if true, stop is the last sample, otherwise it is not included, right? So there are a lot of things you can just go through with this all, and you can find it. Like if I write it there, where is this problem? Copy this. So np dot lens space are from 2.0 to 3.0, and the number to be the 5, and endpoint to be false. So what you can see, that 3 is not the last number you are getting. If you write the 3 is itself the last number what you are getting. Okay, so that is the endpoint means. Like if you write it as true, it will take the last number as the end number, and if you write it as false, it will take not the last number, right? Then it will go with some other stepping things. Okay, 5. So this is like all about the numpy. We'll now switch to pandas, because you don't have much for those who are giving examination tomorrow. In that case, numpy is not much deep for working there. That is easy actually. Okay. Fine, coming up to the pandas. Now this is a very important module or library, you can say, to work with the data structures, the series and all. Okay. So here also you'll be needing very less thing to operate with the tomorrow examination, and then we'll be continuing with this all in the data analysis part. Okay. So pandas is also very easy. You'll just have to write import pandas as PD, and that's done. Now check the version of the pandas. this is the pandas version. What was the numpy version, guys? So this is the numpy version I'm using, and that was the pandas version, like common version, like what we use specifically. Okay. Now coming up to the next thing. In pandas, you have basically three things to discuss. Mostly two. One is series, and the second is your data frames. And you will be asked questions on data frames tomorrow, hmm? Not about the series. You will be only asked regarding the data frames. That is an easy task. Okay, cool. So, like, what are data frames? Like, we are not going into series now. So, what are data frames? These are a collection of some rows and columns, or you can say a spreadsheet. What you can see in this Python, in this. Okay, someone is there. This is a kind of a spreadsheet you see here. Exam will be of MCQ type. Yes. See, one video will be shared to you in the evening, around 7 to 8, right? And that will give you instructions. That video will give you the instructions of how to start the examination, how to complete the examinations, how to go from where to where, and that all, right? So you'll get all the things. MCQ questions will be there for 5 modules. I think 5 modules are there. So complete those all videos what you have got yesterday. Okay. So whatever the link I have given, just go through those things because we will be getting questions from there. So do one thing, complete that. Okay, and what to say? Okay, let's just first complete this thing, then I will discuss about that. So, pandas, you have data frames, right? Now, how data frames are made up of, right? Let's say this is X and this is A, sorry, B. Okay, don't give the thing A, okay. And let's take some 25. No, 4 is there, right? So 4 cross 5, 20. So 20 numbers, some random numbers, 20 random numbers. Cool. And let's do one thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And reshape this in 4 rows and 5 columns. So R is equals to 4 rows and 5 columns. Okay? 5. Now, let's just make a data frame and let's write that our data is equals to R and the columns is going to be okay, leave the columns. Let's just write the index. So index is going to be X. So you can see up quickly data frame, or you can see like a spreadsheet of some 5 I think it's 5 rows, yeah. So 5 columns and 4 rows, okay. And the numbers what are is the exactly the random numbers you have, right? So let's just make it to 1000 and let's make it as 100 cross 10. Okay. So R will be quite big. This is R. Right, it is quite big, so we're not making everything. Now rerun this. Shape of pass values is 100 cross 10 and indices implies okay. Right. So 1 minute. Split out. Oh no, that is 100 actually. So let it be as it is. Okay. So what you can see is right. This was an error because we are taking some 10 columns, right? So what we can do here in place of all these, we can make it as the columns of this x, and that would be fine. Yeah. So we can see this A to Z here, right? What I was doing that I was just trying to write it there. I forgot that this is 100, so we'll have to write for like some up to Z and repeat it there for some times. So this is what you can see now, a data frame which is consisting some 100 rows and 10 columns. So we don't require everything to work there, right? We don't require this all 100 rows to get up with the data. So what we can do is we can see the head of the data. What you will be asked in the examination tomorrow, that print how will you get the head of the data, and what is the usage of head statement, right? If I say that I want, okay, I haven't made any name to this, let's say this is df. So this is your df, right? But I want to see the first 5 rows, I'll be writing as head. So I'll only see the first 5 rows, that is 0 1 2 3 4 and all the columns. Okay, I want to see the last 5 rows, this would be tail, and that is the tail you are getting. Okay. Now let's say that I want only one element to see, so that is properly the head of one element. Okay, the head of one element. Now you want a tail of an element, tail of 0. So nothing you are going to get it right there. Okay. So this is how this working with the files are made in the pandas. Okay. Now this is like a user generated data, and then we are working on this. Right? Let it be a pre-generated data. They just take it somewhere from else. Just bring a data. SNS start. And let's just bring the Titanic data set. Anytime when you come with a data set, first try to understand the information of the data, what it says. So the information of a data says that this is having a range which index number start from 0 to 890 and it's having 891 entries. There are some 15 to 15 columns. Each column name has been given, and also non-null count means that there is some 891 non-null objects. That is 891 objects over there. Here is some 714 non-null objects, right? So minus 891 minus 714. So rest of them are null. Okay. So like that you can see up there. So deck is having only 203 non-null objects apart from 891. So like this all leaves it right. Okay. So data types used here is 2 boolean, 2 categories, 2 float, 2 integers, and 5 objects. That's nice. Okay, cool. And memory you can see there, it's 80.6 KB only. Now, if we just write, or if we just see the head of the data, it would be the survived, P-class, sex, age, siblings, spouses, parents, children, pair, embarked, class. These all are the rubbish things, right? These are actually not needed because who stands for male, man, woman, this is all defined by the sex, right? adult of again man, true, false, and all. This is not needed. We want adult, you can find it there. Okay, that is also a good one. So deck is given and is not a number. Embarked, it is given here. Embarked, SCS, S for Southampton, C for Cherbourg, and there is I think one more. What is it? What is it? Queenstown, I think it's Q over there. Yeah, so Q for Queenstown. Alright. And alive is again survived is defining this alive, so no need of this alive column or no need of this alone column if it is having a siblings or a parent. So obviously it is not an alone one. So that is how you just get to understand with your data set. Now let's just give some of the information. Let's just take some of the information from our data, right? So how we can get it there? How many people survived in this data set? So the people who survived always will be one, right? So we could say that the people, the number of one is there will be the survival of the people, right? The number of one will decide the number of survival of the people. So you can just write it as the df dot, sorry, df of what is its name, survive dot the value underscore counts. So these are some of the higher methods. This is not going to ask in the examination. So this will give you a count that 342 people survived, 549 didn't survive. Nice. Not nice, sorry. Not nice. So how many men survived and how many females survived, right? That is also a point. So list of the df of survived equals to be male, equals to be 1, and you also want to check where this df of this sex is equals to male. Could not perform random with a data type of object scalar as booleans. Okay. This line, result of an OP. Okay. So as you can see, there are some true and false results for the survival. But we don't want for the survival, we want for the men too. So it should be, and so this male is not defined. Oh, sorry. I'm going to put it up for the distance. What is here? Okay.
Sir, and should be typed instead of the symbol. Is that the error?
We'll look at one minute. Number of men survived as pools. Approx 100. Okay. So list of survived equals 1. Yeah, it can be, and I think. Let's see. I think it should be there. it is not working. Okay. Slight error is what we are doing here. List of the DF of survived is equals to 1 and the DF of the sex is equals to male. Why there is something different? DF of this, is there anything? No. Cannot perform a random without a T-typed object array and a scalar type of an object. What is the data type of this thing? Sex is equals to an object, okay. And survived is going to be an integer of 64. I think a minute error is shit. That was the error actually. So in place of this should be taken inside one bracket, and I forgot to apply that. So it should be inside the bracket of this, right? So in place of this Titanic, it should be DF, and first what we will do is first we'll try to run this. All right. So key error we have got. Yeah, that is exactly correct, because here things are in the small and we want some males, and you could see there a list of false and true, right? So we want to find out the count, that is we want to find how many true objects are there. So that is 109 according to the graph. Also if you see, there is something around 100 plus who saved, right, who lived. And if we see for the female, survive would be 233 approximately, equal, like if you just see it from here also, it is fine, okay. And we see how many female did not survive, very less as compared to the male, you see. Then, and also this is approximately, you can say it's close to the number of male who survived. All right, that is number of female who don't survived is equals to the male survived. And if I see for the number of males, there would be a lot there. There is 468. Okay, so you get graphs and a lot of things. That was a very minute error we were doing up. Okay, no issues. So this you can do with the data, right? If you want to see how many adult were there, copy it up. So very nice. It is tf dot or df of this edit middle dot the value underscore of counts. So there were 537 adults and 354 non-adults. Very clear with those things. Okay, nice. So this is all about the things how you go up with the pandas and all. You'll be asking tomorrow in your examinations. There's easy things. Okay. All right. Now, you guys, let me give you an introduction how you can make your projects. Okay. There it is. Hmm. So what you can do is you can make a bank project, you can make a net banking project, you can make a Gmail interface project, and a lot you can do, right? So I'm showing you how student has done, right? I'm giving an introduction of how she has done it there and what she has introduced, right? And there is a program, there is a project with that respect. So what it did, right? Import pandas and load the data set, this bank details, CSV and this TF. What is this bank details CSV is containing? You can see it is having an account number, a PIN, a name, a branch number, phone number, email ID, age, address, and balance. Now, if you say like you would have doubt how to make this data sets, how to make up this all, how we can make it. It is again very easy. See, like if I say you that this is a dictionary, right? B, and this is having, let's say, subjects. Okay, this is a subject dictionary, and you're having keys inside that. So subjects, and then you have another dictionary. Science. And inside there, you can even have another dictionary. Hmm? Inside this science, you can have more things. Not like this, sorry. Like this, okay. You can write here physics, or you can write even chemistry, or you can write even biology and all, right? So let me just show you. There is some sort of dictionaries might be there here in this projects. So if you don't have any dictionary, you can grab the data from the internet as an Excel format if you have any Excel things there. And what you do is, like I had this df as the CSV. What you can say is df dot to underscore of dictionary, and you can make it as df. So it will be a dictionary. You can find. Let's say you want it as d equals to this dictionary. Okay. So what are the keys of this dictionary? So all the columns will be the keys of this dictionary. And what are the values? So values will become all these things. Alright. So there you deal up with the data. So these are all the values of the dictionary, and so does the Excel sheet you're having. Okay. So Southampton and everything will be the values, right? And like that you can go up. So with the help of a dictionary, you can make these things. Okay, how you can make it there? It's again very simple. Let me just show you. So Python training dictionary we did in the 8th day, 9th day. Where is that? Tuples, sets, and dictionary. Okay, somewhere might it be. All right. So that is actually easy, right? With the help of dictionary, you can make up these things. Right. Of how contents there would be somewhere. I am not able to see it yet, right? So you could make some nested dictionary. That is exactly the nested dictionary. You could make it there, right? So let's just say if I make one. So if I see the starting, if you see the starting there, BF to be dictionary. So there should be one value for this key, right? So this is a dictionary named as DF. Okay. Inside that you are having a subject key. The subject key could be all the possible keys you want. Let's say this is a key as science. So inside science, now you want what you want. Now you can write up what you want inside the science. Okay. So just write that you want subjects, right? You want inside the science, you want it as physics, you want chemistry, and you even want mathematics. Hmm? Like that. Uh, okay, let's do one thing. So let's say this is day, or if you are making something, I think I have given you introduction yesterday with that respect to. I think we did it. Yes, yeah, that's fine. So see, these are actually the username, passwords, and all here, and we made a dictionary of all these. So user info is like username and all these things, right? So keys are this all. Now what we do is we'll make a data frame. So once you define up your things, what you do is you make a data frame and write the data is equals to user info. So you will quickly see just a spreadsheet of whatever you have written up there. So from here we can make, right, with the help of a dictionary we can make up like this thing, right? So only thing is to write the data and the data frame, and then you can come with this, right? So once you make this thing, the ones after making up with it. So what she has done, she has made a lot of data, right? If we see up there, she has done almost 29 inputs. Okay, so you can make it. So you it take time actually to make any project, right? So let's just take it there, and if you want to see up any column, so let's see how many names you are having. So this much names you are having. First five records could be displayed. Last five records are stale, and then you can check the data type, checking up all the things. Login page. Now you could make a login page for the user, like name, account number, PIN, and you can make a three list, and then the name would be the df.name.str.lower. That means df of name, right? Whatever the name would be there, from that name you make a lower of that, right? Or ultimately you convert it in the lowercase. The same for the account number and the PIN, and then type of the name, and do some of sortings, right? How you want to take the things, right? And let me just show you the final output, how it will be. So the final output is kind of some bank name, whatever it will be. I'll send you this sample project, right? With the help of this, you can make your own project. And like this, you can get it like enter your name validated, enter your account number, PIN, and all of the things like access granted, the features you are using, date, time, like at what time money has been taken up, like you want ATM banking project, so credit denominations, debit denominations, how this thing works, and all the things, right? So one a project requires a lot of thing to. When should we submit a project? I think you probably get 1 week time to submit the project, right? So I'll be giving you the sample project, right? For those who like don't have interest to make the project, so they could like get help from anywhere. All right, 1 minute. Alright, so you can find it with that reference. Project topics. Project topics will be you can make any ATM banking project, you can make a Gmail interface project, right? You can make a mm, bank database project, right? You can make all these things, right? For Gmail interface, it is very easy again. For the Gmail one, it is like if I see the projects, Gmail interface. So here, what you do is you take up the usernames and then you take up the passwords and all from the user, and then give the. I'll also give you the sample project tool to work on that, right? So you take up all this. Okay, don't go with this one, right? So these are the username, passwords, and all, right? Sample datas, and then make it again data frame. Then work according to this, make a function and go with this, like what function will be dealing with this. Take mobile numbers, take the gender, like let me show you the output. So when I run this all, right, all these things, the final thing is to log in, right? So whenever you run the login, it will say to enter the email, right? So like whenever you start up, it will require you to go through your usernames and all, right? Okay, let me show you how it actually works. Okay, so let's start with the starting. Hmm? So let's run this. Make a dictionary, sample keys, sample data, the usernames you are seeing here, import pandas, and using the data frame to make a pandas data frame and see the D. So how many genders are there, right? How many males and females? For just looking up the things, and here it is. Function for taking the first name and the last name. So first name would be there. Now whatever the first name, if the first name is empty, we'll just break, we'll come out of the loop. If the name is even not there, how we can go to proceed to make any account, right? So if name is empty, we'll break it, and if it is not empty, then go for the last name. And compulsorily we want last name, right? So last name will be input, and once it is done, we have created a list of first name and last name, and will append the first name and last name once all the process completes. And if the last name is not equals to empty, we'll break it there. Okay, so last name completed and come out of the loop. Similarly, function for taking username and a password. User passwords, take raw user password, add something inspected by the gmail.com, and if the user all write whatever the username he takes, right? Let's say there is a username named as itd.shukla, right? And if someone is again taking this, so you should show him that it is already taken. So there, how you can check it up, and you should apply some methods, right? That is how you will be making up the projects. Let's take date, time, and all of the thing, random to take the dates and all. Okay. Well, we'll just see how it happens. Run the things, and we'll see up there. So this is the function for taking username and password. 9. So user password. When you run this, it will say enter username and enter password. Let's say I'm writing itd.shukla @ gmail.com. So username already exists. Okay, fine. And function to take job, sorry, not job, date of birth, gender, and the phone number, and you can take it like there. So if we just use these things, so we can find it there with all the dates and all. Okay. Then the phone number will having a lot of things. I'll give you this project. You can go through it, how it works. So when you say number, let's say this 626 33325 17, my number, and this OTP has been sent to the number. So this is your one-time Google verification code. Enter this OTP and log in. So invalid OTP, it is saying, okay, what is the issue? Okay, it would be with the G, I think. Alright. So it would be, I think, with the G it is taking up. Okay. So enter the gender or the first name, right? With the first name, use the passwords and all. Now, if you want to log in, right, then we take some another data and we add it up with there, and the total data becomes at something for 9. Now we converted this in the CSV, the final data to the CSV, and then we changed up the things. Hmm? Then a user is coming to just log in up there, and this is how it works. So let's just run the gender and run up these things again so that no issues would be there. And 13, 14. Uh, yeah, so data is this, and data frame is this. Data frame, you can see why. Okay, I'm not running it again, right? So that is how the final data is being taken into a bank, and final data is not defined. So this is final data. Convert this here, and this is a login success. And let's just log in somewhere. So what our main goal is, let's say, so this is like at the rate gmail.com. What is the password? Let me see here. Sumit Shukla 20. Okay. So we'll enter. Ask for the password. Sumit Shukla 20. Login successful. Now what is the login success and login failed? Right? So if I see the login success and login failed, it is saying that this ID has login at 18:00:59. Is this so? Alright. So at 6 p.m. this ID has login. So no failed login attempt, right? If I say that and I write something and incorrect password is there, right? And just make it a code and we'll run this. So it says that at 18:31 there was a failed login, right? The user tried to make something with an invalid thing. So that is all. What is the main goal to find? And similarly, we got that what is the login success. So this was login at this, and failed at this. And you can even find this on this URL. If you go with this URL, you'll find up this project here too. Okay, that is all about the projects.